Hello everybody and welcome to today's demo video. In this video we are going to take a close look at the new Asset Treemap Plus for AVEVA PI Vision. Alright, let's go. So before we get started we want to select our actual assets. The Asset Treemap Plus is an asset relative symbol. So what we want to do is first of all build our asset structure or asset hierarchy. Most likely we would like to use templates for that. For our example, we are using our pumps over here. We've got a hierarchy for different production lines and departments, and here we start with selecting one of our pumps. Initially we will use all of the attributes below and then select the Asset Treemap Plus in the symbol library. We drag the symbols onto the display, and initially you will only see our single pump. Before we start, we need to define our asset search criteria, so we do right click add dynamic search criteria. For now we are filtering on our department A, but we would like to have all our pumps for now, so we remove that and start with the root path, select return all descendants and increase the number of results. Then we click refresh and we are immediately presented with all our pumps, and we go to our configuration. So initially the symbol will try and use any of your attributes that we use to create the symbol. The main part or the important configuration option is the actual value. So the value defines the actual size of the individual asset boxes. So for example, in ours we're using our current OEE as the actual value for our boxes, meaning the bigger the OEE is, the bigger the box will be, and the smaller the OEE is, the smaller the box will be. But we can also use our other ones as well, like our pressure as well, so then we'll use that specific attribute for the size of the box. Okay, so there are a couple of different configuration options. First one is the actual grouping. So in the default setting it's set to none, so we just see all of our pumps in a single flat list. There's two different options that we can use for grouping. One is the actual asset hierarchy. So if we enable that, what we'll see is all of the pumps are then being grouped by their asset hierarchy. So at the top we have our pumps. The second level then includes our production lines, and the third and final level then our actual departments. So we can also enable and disable the root as well, and the important part is also the drill down feature. So now we just see all of them, but if we enable drill down we'll just be presented with the first level, and we can then click deeper into the asset tree to get more information until we see the actual pumps again. So we can then drill up to the first level again and then just go down again. The second option for grouping is grouping by attributes. We can group by multiple attributes. In our example we can use by adding a new attribute. We can, for example, group by asset, of course, but that doesn't make too much sense here. But for now we want to group by status. Our pumps have different states they're in using enum values, and I can then group them by status, and now I'm immediately presented with the different states. And now under running I will see all the pumps that are running, and if I go to failure I will see all the 3 pumps that are in failure mode. I can of course use it either with drill down or without drill down, and I can also do multiple attributes, so multiple groups as well. So I can add like another group as well by asset, or I can do like, you know, add as many attributes as I want. For now we're going with the status one. Now as far as the data itself or the data labels goes, there's a couple different options. So in the default setting, it will just show you the actual asset name. But for our example, we want to also see the OEE, so the equipment effectiveness value. So we add that to the data labels, increase the size of it, and we also increase the size for our asset name here. And we are free to add more to the data labels. So I can just click add, change that to status, and now I can also see like the status inside the data label. But the most important part is probably the coloring. So I can choose between 3 different color modes. The first one is being auto, which is use random colors for each of the groups. I can do custom, so I can, for each of my groups that I have, now these are grouped by status, I can define individual colors so they match like the actual state, for example, if I want to do that. And the third option, and this is probably the preferred one, is coloring by value, because we want to see, you know, the performance of each of the pumps at a first glance. So the colors really help us identifying the pumps that are having issues right now. As we can see by this one, it's at 0, so it shows red. I can use any attribute for that. So independent of the actual value that represents the box size, I can use a different attribute for the color. So I can color by pressure, for example, by status. I can also color, in this example, we just go for OEE, and I can define a color gradient that I can use for that. I can either use like predefined gradient like this one, or I can use multistate. So if I do right click, add multistate OEE, it will use those multistate colors for the backgrounds. So I'm free to use both. Now it's overriding the gradient, but for now we're going with the default coloring settings, and we're free to add as many colors as we want. So you can configure this to your liking. You can also increase or decrease the scale range, show the legend, so you can exactly see in which range the value is. There's a couple different other options like numbering, and you can also do navigation. So most of the time it would make sense to drill down into details. For example, pump 3 is having an issue. It's at 0% OEE and it's stopped right now. We want to see what's going on. We do right click and then add navigation link, and then we search for a display like this one, for example, and now we can click any of those, and if I click that, it will take me to that specific display with the asset selected. Alright, this is it. Thank you very much for watching.